Shalom. This is Nazama Shalhamada Bar Yasharal on my channel Nazama the Hebrew Mystic Healer. Before I get started with the video, I would like to first show some love to my 3D kin, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites scattered to the four corners of this third dimensional earth plane of existence. Much love and shalom to you. I would also like to show some love to my cosmic kin, the Nibiru, the primordial dragons, the Anunnaki starseeds scattered to the 12 dimensions of this universal cosmic egg matrix. Much love and shalom to you. I would also like to show some gratitude and appreciation to my viewers, especially those of you who are subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so now, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss out on any amazing content. Also, if you like this video, please show me by giving it a like. It does help. Thank you. This video is going to be a part 2 to my targeted individuals video that I made about 7 months ago. This video was completely focused on how to identify targeted individuals, how to know if you were a targeted individual, and what to do to protect yourself whilst being targeted. So in this video, I'm going to go more into how I have dealt with this recently and certain areas that it's been amping up for me in. So for those of you that follow me really closely on YouTube and on Facebook, I'm sure you've noticed lately that I've been talking about being shadow banned, and that I've been talking about ways to circumnavigate having to deal with Google and YouTube specifically. And the reason I've been talking about this is that my main video that I consider to be the video that I feel is one of the most important videos on my particular YouTube channel, I honestly feel that the videos that help identify, who the Hebrew Israelites, the Hebrew Nibiru, right, are in the flesh, and how it corresponds to their cosmic and primordial soul family resonance and ancestry. And so it's not just about identifying them in 3D Earth bloodline lineages, but also how that corresponds to their ancestry in the cosmic and primordial realms. So these videos to me that are all centered around the Nibiru and the messages for them and how they're identified, these are the most important videos on my channel, for the record. Now, I'm not saying that it's not important to identify, other starseed placements or any other, soul categories, soul types. I'm not saying it's not important to learn about shadow work, ancestral healing, things of that nature. It's exceptionally important. Very important. However, I started out this channel with a very Hebraic focus. And as I branched out and grew and activated more cosmically and primordially, I began to get access to information, became to be privy to certain information within my DNA. As this occurred, and I started being able to access various dimensions of myself, my DNA, my soul memory, and I started putting that out on YouTube, I started getting shadow banned. Specifically when dealing with a video I did on the Anunnaki Nibiru starseeds of Orion, Draco, and Sirius. Now, this video is a video that plays when you click on my channel. I did that by design, and I used to have it just as the video you see when you first come on my page, and then I have the most recent upload as the one you see when you are subscribed to my page. However, about a week ago, I found out that I was shadow banned, and I found this out because I went to search. Every so often, I like to search and see where my videos fall. And it used to be toward the top, if not the first to come up. Now it doesn't come up at all. So that's when I figured out that I was being shadow banned. And I knew intuitively and instantly that that's what was going on. And then that was confirmed for me when I started, searching on Brave, and I found it there on that search browser. But I couldn't find it through Google or YouTube. And knowing that Google and YouTube are connected, then, that was all the proof I needed, essentially. Other people who were both subscribed to my channel couldn't do it. People that had never been to my channel couldn't do it. I tested it out. Believe me. So, fast forward to tonight, I go to post a snippet of manuscripts from the missing scroll Gad the Seer, which was one of the Hebraic scrolls that was left out of the canonization of the Bible and was released from the Vatican vaults. However, it has been altered somewhat, but it does call out a lot of important shit. So specifically, it addresses by name the Edomite tribes and locations of the particular Edomite races that are responsible for the enslavement and the systematic genocide and cultural disconnection and loss of identity of the Hebraic people. It actually lists the Sephardic people, the Ashkenaz people, the Edomite people as being those that were responsible for trying to replace and destroy the true Hebrew Israelites. So, that's a big deal. Now, when I was first trying to put it up, I made the mistake of actually saying Jewish and Edomite and Roman Catholic in the same sentence and what they did and how judgment's coming. And it kept getting taken down. And I kept circling the date, taking pictures and all of that. And then I thought, you know what, let me try it without mentioning those words and see what happens. And then, so my more recent post that I did, I just shared the pictures showing the times and when I circled it and how they kept taking it down and I kept putting it back up. And finally, how they left it alone, even with the images, because I didn't use those buzzwords, which tells me that this has to do with the type of bot they're using. So that's another example of me being shadow banned of something very specific, having to do, once again, with the Hebrew Israelites, with the Nibiru descendants. The people that are, enslaved and oppressed around the world. Yeah, them. It also doesn't surprise me that they're doing this because the last person that put out very similar information. Now, mind you, I didn't even know that the holy tablets existed until about 3 weeks ago. I was blown away when I read the holy tablets by Dr. Malachi York because so much of the shit he talks about is the same shit I talked about on my channel. He also figured out that the Anunnaki were the same thing as the gods of the Hebrews, and that Hebrew and Hebrew is connected. He also found out that, they crossed over from the stars and came down. His pronunciation, at least when I found on a Nuwapian YouTube channel, his pronunciation was also the same. Mine is Anunnaki. I kept having people say, "Why do you say Anunnaki instead of Anunnaki?" I don't know. I just felt like Anunnaki was right. It just felt right to me, And lo and behold, that's the same way that it was pronounced on that guy's channel as well. So we may differ on certain things, but he brought out the same thing I did, that they only dealt with the Shemitic races. Now, where we differ is he seemed to lean more toward, the Ishmaelites being favored, and I leaned more toward the Israelites being favored, but that's because he adheres to more of the Islamic, view, and I adhered more to the Hebrew Israelite view. But he did acknowledge the same thing I did, that all the Shemitic peoples are part of that lineage. So, And what happened to Dr. Malachi York? The CIA shut him down. He had a full-blown community, and they shut him down. They paid off and pressured a woman from inside the community. They bought her out. She rolled over on him and made up some shit about him molesting children. That's all it took. They, arrested him, and he's being held indefinitely and has been ever since then. And then once he was arrested, she admitted later that, she lied. She was forced to lie. Somewhere is always a snitch snitching, right? So it doesn't surprise me knowing that even with my little tiny channel, not even scratching 2,000 yet, almost there, not quite, with my little niche audience, that I would get shadow banned on putting truth out there. And I'm not even that big. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something to mess with my exposure level with new people either. With people being able to find me and my videos coming up. And I'm talking about people that aren't yet subscribed to me. So that's what's been going on. And that's exactly why I am gravitating away from YouTube. Now, these people couldn't get me in the astral realm because my shit's on lockdown. They're not showing up in the physical because of where I'm located. So what else do they have to do? They're going to hit me on social network. And because they know I'm not technically breaking their community standards, I'm not sitting there calling people slurs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not calling people like racial slurs and things and talking about like hate speech or anything like that. I'm just putting out truth. I'm just putting out what certain texts and scriptures say. I'm putting out, channel messages that I receive from my soul family. And what probably makes me dangerous too is I'm not just out here being like, oh, like fuck the Edomites down, with whiteys and Jews. Like, I'm not talking like that. I'm actually teaching folks how to like go into their akashic records, how to heal themselves in collective shadow healing, how to make the earth a better place. I don't just deal with my own people. Yes, my own people are my top priority. But I help all different types of peoples from all different types of bloodlines and all different types of walks of life. And I really do believe that everybody should embrace their own sovereign expression and know and learn who they are and be the best version, the best elevated, awakened version that they can be of themselves and heal. Because if none of us are putting in the work, nothing's going to change. But these people, they're controllers. They just want to control. They want to have all the power. They want to have all the influence. They don't give a fuck. They're predators, too. I expose predators. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I really recommend that if you don't want to risk becoming a targeted individual, if you are already, or if you are, they sell these things on, Amazon and all these other different online stores where you can get the little slider sticky or magnet things that cover the cameras on your laptops, on your phones, and your tablets, and your iPads and your TVs and your Kindles and all that shit. And make sure that shit's always locked unless you're, using your phone to take a picture or something. Otherwise, have that shit on lockdown. You know, download apps that monitor whether or not, applications are, or even, viruses or spyware, malware is trying to access like your devices, to record you, to, record you either on camera or your vocals, or to access your location without your permission. I highly recommend that regardless of, you know, the type of device you have, that you go down and you double check all your privacy, permissions, and you make sure that they don't have access to like your location, that they don't have permission to send in a bunch of reports and tailor their ads to you and all of this other shit. Why the fuck does, YouTube need to know your location, for example? Why does Facebook need to know your location? Why does fucking Angry Birds, know your goddamn location? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this kind of shit needs to be, like, turned off on your phone. Even Google Play Store, if you have Android. I don't know how it works on Apple Play Store. I do have an iPhone, but I don't use it as often. And so I haven't really used the Apple Store on my iPhone in a long time. But I would go through whatever devices you have and make sure that, all of your permissions are for the utmost privacy for yourself. If you can, I would recommend dumping Google, dumping Gmail. Go more private. Switch out Gab instead of Facebook eventually. Switch out Vimo or DTube instead of YouTube. Switch out like, Proton Mail or Fast Mail instead of, Gmail. Switch out, F-Droid instead of, the Google Store. Don't have Gmail, or, Apple as your fucking email for your phone devices. Instead of Google, use Brave or DuckDuckGo. I mean, there's some other ones that I could mention, but you can do the research yourself. There are ways to protect your privacy. And, these are just suggestions. You don't have to do these things. Eventually I am going to migrate away from YouTube. Eventually I will migrate away from Facebook. Eventually I will migrate away from TikTok and Instagram. I'm using these platforms to get information out, to be able to help people, to promote my business, which helps people. That's what my business is centered on. That's its foundation. So as soon as I reach a certain point, then I will start expanding out into these other channels. I might even go from Patreon to buy me a cup of coffee, or maybe do both, But I want to be able to use platforms that allow me to share the information that can help people. Because these big companies, these conglomerates, they don't give a fuck. I'm not saying that any company gives a fuck, but at least there are better alternatives out there where you can at least have a voice and not be tracked and watched and monitored and spied on 24 fucking 7 under the guise of, better advertising and security. Kiss my ass. So that's just how I look at it, people. Do as you will with what you will, but I just wanted to put the information out there for you and let you know that I'm trying to maintain the integrity of the information I'm putting out. I don't want this to turn into a situation like with other people that end up being censored to such a large degree that they end up becoming sellouts. That ain't me. If you see me all of a sudden go deep six, just know that it wasn't out of fear. It was because I said, you know what, I just said fuck you because I was tired of being, blocked left and right, and finally reach my destination and go off grid anyway, which is my ultimate goal. So what my husband and I have been working on for about 7 years now. It's a slow process when you're trying to do it out of the country and do it the right way without, an asinine amount of debt, you know, with the right comforts in place and long-term viability. So I hope this was helpful to you. Definitely check out my first part, because that goes more into little ways you can protect yourself that deal on other levels such as dream inception and, 3D stalking and things of that nature. But this is more so going into the media portion of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. I am going to be doing Series B very soon. So hang in there. I have so much more coming out about the void, about some of the journeys I've had there. And really just a lot of stuff has really been marinating in my skull. So I've just been very busy with clients and trying to juggle that with Patreon. And so I will be getting that out shortly. So many more amazing videos on the way. And I will definitely let you guys know when I decide to transition over to another platform away from YouTube. So this probably won't be right away. But I wanted to just let you guys know some of the shit I've been dealing with, basically. Just trying to get the truth out there. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video and share. Come visit my healing page, facebook.com, The Hebrew Mystic Healer, all one word. The link for my healing page is in the drop-down menu of this video. Full descriptions of services are in the pinned post on my healing page. You can book any service ranging from retro-cosmic akashic record readings, akashic portraits, draconic needle starseed charts, spirit releasement, intuitive guidance, angelic healing, Usui, Reiki, and more by simply clicking on the blue Book Now button. Also, don't forget to check out Patreon. Do not miss out on the techniques and guided meditations for psychic and spiritual protection, ancestral healing, advanced shadow work, activating your light Merkaba, connecting with your soul family, light language activation, recalling past lives, activating major and minor chakra points, and much more. The link for Patreon is in the drop-down menu. Thank you for your support. Stay tuned for the next video.